So I finally made it to Rudolf Steiner's Goetheanum, and before we get inside, I would love to show you where I woke up. So this place was just so cute. It was an attic, an Airbnb. I loved every bit of it. I slept so well here. And when it was time to head to Goetheanum, it was just a beautiful day, and even the staircase here I felt was almost like a preview to how things would be in all the staircases, the swipey, designy staircases. Saw some symbols, I swoon, my number 13. And the first thing you see at the bottom of the driveway is this shop, which looks very Rudolf Steiner-y already, but is this incredible grocery store and cafe, which is all biodynamic, organic stuff. It was actually incredible. A store like this should be everywhere. I love the yogurt in Switzerland. It is so delicious. I think we should just stare at it for some time. I loved that Goetheanum itself was on its own street, Goetheanumstrasse. Pretty amazing. And the maps were outstanding. The main building is surrounded by all of these smaller buildings that are either offices or houses or studios, and you can actually stay in them, which I found out a little too late, but they're just, some of them, like this one, is designed by Rudolf Steiner, and others are by people with similar thoughts and inspirations to him, and you can just take these long, looping walks that are so beautiful and have other little treats, and just admire the architecture and all the subtleties. And I do feel that spending so much time here looking at these buildings made me aware of a bunch of other stuff I'm starting to see in Switzerland that are so subtle but so different. In the middle of the architecture tour, there was this beautiful water feature that I want you to pay attention to because it creates an infinity symbol shape with the water, and it's so beautiful and it sounds so good. So staring at this, I felt it had a real cleansing quality of maybe the digestive system or reproductive system, as it just kind of looked like a butt or a vagina, and just like felt so good to see that shape just being flushed out and cleared and infinity symboled. It was so beautiful. The architecture trail continued to impress with a lot of new angles, greenery, and we even saw a giant snail. And I even like the buildings that were super simple but still designed by Rudolf Steiner, like this one, because you can see all the little details that are included in his minor stuff and his really kind of potent sculptural stuff. And he's really big on these sweeping staircases, which are just throughout this video. And then it was back to the main event, and, you know, vibes were high. This room echoes a lot. It's an incredible echo, actually. It's like echoing through all this, if you think about it. Ooh. Knowing what I know now about trance spiritualism, which Rudolf Steiner practiced, it makes so much sense that he'd have random faces and entity-like beings in his work. I really loved this sculpture, which felt like a spirit entering a human from the back. And just the beautiful design. And this, okay, this staircase, I'm filming this from the bottom up, and you can see that it's a gradient that just goes up and up and up with every level, and it's so beautiful. And one of the first things that drew me to coming here was images of this, and it's just so pretty, and you just go up and it feels like a spiritual experience. This is one of my favorites for sure. And you just go up and up until the top, and when I got to the top, there was a rainbow through the prism, accompanied by a dresser that I believe he designed. He also did a lot of furniture stuff, but pretty spectacular rainbow, you know, really, really thick, hardy one too. And Jamie and I had a little photo shoot with it where I look like I'm sick with stripes. Then it kind of had like AP photo class vibes, you know, like 2010 photo class. I really like that. I've been keeping this tiny book as a good luck charm for the next book in my wallet, and we were able to slide it through the sculptural crevasses of the staircase, which was really fun, like a marble. And then it was time to wait for the auditorium to open, which only opened for an hour each day on limited days. And this was something that really drew me to coming here, was images of this beautiful, beautiful auditorium with this just spiritual, colorful rainbow ceiling of all these different entities and swirling beings, and just so beautiful. And going back to this theme of entities speaking to a person, this figure was surrounded by about 7 spirits speaking to him with stars above. So I think that was really accurate to the way that I believe the layers of the spirit world are shaped, and that was nice to see. The windows were wild, and here's the thing, is once you get close to them, you realize they're actually etched that way. It's not like some overlay or some post design. It is carved into the glass, and all of the glass has texture and inlets and dyes that create this very unique, like, stained glass style that matches his painting style. That's just very sweeping and spiritual and pastel-y. And there was this funny thing where they had this random dummy up there, which I guess was supposed to show that Rudolf would lecture there, which was funny. Then it was back to the beautiful staircases, which I went up many times to go take a break in the cafe, get some successful Wi-Fi and a swirl-shaped treat. Giant sweeping dining room with great treats and fruit juices. And the courtyard, I almost missed it. It was so gorgeous, and you could really get a really nice look at the building. And after this, we went somewhere that you weren't allowed to take photos of at all. So I'm going to put these cows while I talk about it. You weren't allowed to take photos or record, so there's one secret little thing that I can't show you, which was one of the best rooms in the whole building. It was an enormous sculpture that Rudolf Steiner worked on for endlessly, and it was really compelling, and it was in this crazy room that just reminded me that there's so many rooms in this building that I'll never see, and it was really beautiful and a little secret waiting for you there. Next up was the bookshop, which did not disappoint. It was humongous with books, postcards, trinkets, all kinds of stuff. Endless books, including an enormous used book section, which was all in German, but that is still so fun for me because I truly love books. I love looking at fonts, pictures, and something I always look out for is that old art books have some of the best prints of paintings and art that you'll ever get, that are on thick paper and just easy to find, and you could cut them out, collage them, all kinds of things. And I did take home this one because I was like, let's go back to the basics, the classics, and the images were so good, glossy, thick, and of course the postcards, and there was so many beautiful ones. And I really need to get educated on all these artists because they're not all Rudolf Steiner, and they come from a very clear movement that I think is building more and more of these spiritual forms. Definitely got that one. This one reminded me of my spirit guides that came to me in green waves of color. So that was exciting. I love that this one had that classic pastel vibe that the other ones did, but it had this added white that made it sort of more classical, so I'm inspired by that. Dodecahedron in glass, relevant to me. I found Jamie reading a nature book, while I perused. And it was just fun to see everything that Rudolf Steiner has written, which is so many. There was some books in English, which was cool, but all these funky titles and just these spiritual vibes endlessly. It's a wonderful store. I could see myself posting up here with the Wi-Fi for some time. And there was a Hima Af Klint section, which brought me to an interesting development, which is in the Archival building. There was a notebook of Rudolf Steiner's where he had a sketch that looked exactly like Hima Af Klint's work. And I looked it up, and of course, she had drawn that shape over a decade before he had in his journal, and I'd like to think, they did know each other. They were in similar scenes. Maybe he sketched from her paintings, got inspired by her, and that was a clear note there. But look at all these journals, all their different spines, all of his notebooks. He was a big notebooker. I think he would have loved Twitter. I think he would have loved social media. There are 637 notebooks that you can just look at, and I loved looking at them. I love these purple ones. It just reminds me of my stack of notebooks and how much I love them. And he said he would write everything that comes to him from the spirit world, and he often wouldn't look at it ever again. Tons and tons of notebooks. The notebook area in the archive was in a totally separate building, also designed by Rudolf Steiner, with a view of the main building. And I really loved this room. You would walk in and it was just beautiful, clean, airy. When you opened the door, you could feel the archival air conditioner temperature, the perfect temperature. I thought this was really clever, which was basically all of his first editions accompanied with a map that you could just get the information on each one, and that was just really well done. This place also had a used bookstore, but the best thing about the used bookstore, I felt, was all of these sort of second-hand prints of Rudolf Steiner's work. And I really like this because there was so much art around this building, and not all of it was his. And this was actually the one place where I felt very much in a gallery of his work by itself. And so that was kind of funny, and I loved it. I looked at every single one, and just wonderful pastel-y spiritual drawings. Rudolf Steiner is a Pisces, and he happens to share the exact birthday of Jamie, my boyfriend, February 27th. Then it was back to the cafe where something really magical occurred. So those same magnificent singing women, one by one, went and got coffee out of this coffee robot, and I followed suit and got my own, and it was actually really delicious. And this was my goodbye coffee as things were closing up, and I walked away, and cheers to everything that I loved. The buildings, the wicked staircases, the little cafe, the biodynamic organic grocery store, and the building itself. So across from that biodynamic grocery store was a little free library that had this old book with wonderful classic font in it. I can't believe that so many books were written in this font through and through for so long. It's amazing. And I translated the title, and it means The Master, which is fitting because I kind of want to use this and make it into a journal, a collage journal of just all the little bits and pieces I got from this trip, and just kind of make it maybe my Rudolf Steiner and Goetheanum architecture. And when I get home, I'll probably cut these out, put them in there. And this is something we did in my contemporary art class long ago, where you would get an old book and you would use gesso, or not, but you could gesso every page and make it into this matte white paper, or just collage directly on it, and it was pretty perfect. But it was really surreal to finally be here after looking at so many pictures of it and just kind of seeing so many synchronicities with Rudolf Steiner and what I believe in and what I love.
Well, you don't know me, but I know you, and I've got a message to give to you.